everyone! Today's video is going to be my monthly haul, so this is everything that I have picked up throughout the month of August. And we're going to kick this off with yet more ColourPop. I don't know what it is the last few months, I cannot get enough, and I know what part of the problem is. It's because they put out so many collections so frequently that I feel like I'm always ordering. I'm kind of putting a little bit of a halt to that right now, but I do have some goodies in this one that I can't wait to show you. And the funny thing is that they're already out of date. That's the hilarity of ColourPop's launch cycles. As soon as I order something, by the time I get my package, they've already launched like 2 more collections, and that would be a slow week or 2 for them. Anyway, so I have now the Orange You Glad palette, which again at this point was 3 monochromatic palettes ago because they've already launched that strawberry one, and then they've got the peach one out now. I can't keep up. I don't think anybody can. But the Orange You Glad palette was the final one that I needed to complete the sort of rainbow that they were doing with the monochrome palettes. They've kind of branched off and gone a little bit differently now with the sort of fruit theme, which I guess they were kind of doing with the orange one and then the watermelon one, but I was happy to just complete the rainbow. So now that I've completed the rainbow, my plan is to kind of hold off from their monochromatic palettes because the fruit themed ones aren't necessarily appealing to me because they're a bit more of a muted color scheme. Anyway, back to this orange one. I was so excited when I saw that they were putting this one out because I was like, perfect, I've got all the colors of the rainbow and this one completes it. And I have to say, I am really excited about this palette. I've only swatched it so far. I haven't played with it on my eyes, but when I was swatching the colors, I was so impressed with just how vibrant they are. This was coming off stronger than any of the other palettes that I have purchased from ColourPop in this monochromatic format. And I think, I mean, a lot of them are pigmented, don't get me wrong, but this one just has almost like a neon quality to it, and that made me really excited. So I can't wait to play with this one. There is a glitter in the middle, and a lot of people are complaining about the glitters in palettes because they're not eye safe. I put them on my eyes anyway, but that's just me. If you're uncomfortable doing that, don't put any of the glitters on your eyes. But yeah, I'm so excited about this one, and even though it's like, what, a month out of date now, I'm still really happy that I picked this one up. Okay, more ColourPop. I picked up 2 of their pre-assembled palettes because I feel like these are a really good deal. Now, both of these palettes had originally been priced around $40 or $45, and at the time I almost ordered them and I was like, it seems like a lot of money, and they tend to discount their products quite often. So I held off, and thank heavens I held off because they eventually reduced the price tag down to 20 bucks, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want to be paying for these palettes. So these are pre-arranged palettes based on their singles. And I like this cardboard packaging. It's one of those kind of Z palette-esque type palettes. The only thing it doesn't have is a mirror. Not that the Z palettes have one either. But this is magnetic, and these are all part of their single shadows that you can buy like just as a singular color. So the top 2 rows are actually glitters. They're pressed glitters. I'm pretty sure they're not intended for the eye area, but I will put them there anyway. I have never had an issue with them. And then this bottom row of shades, I believe was from their neon collection. I believe I've only played with one of the glitters so far. Part of the problem with doing these monthly hauls is as soon as I buy a whole bunch of items, I put them in a little cubby area in my studio, and then I basically don't touch the products until I film this video. So it doesn't give me a ton of opportunity to play with the products before I film this video, which is a bit of a shame, but as soon as I film this, I get to play with everything, which makes me very excited. So I think I've only really swatched them, and then maybe I touched one of the glitters once for an eye look. The neons look very fun to me, and I do really like the pairing with the glitters in this palette, and for 20 bucks, like 20 US, I think that's fantastic. So this palette is called the Headliner, and it's still available on their website, which is great. And then the next palette, I irritatingly cannot remember the name of, but it's another assembled palette, and I really like the color scheme of this. Now you'll notice that 2 of the shadows are missing in here because they were duplications of the glitters in this one. I think one was Hungry Ghost and one was probably the orange glitter. So I put those 2 glitters aside because they come in just single packaging, and I'm like, okay, I can give them away to somebody else at some point. And then I got to swatching this palette, and then I realized there was another 3 color overlap. So between these 2 palettes, There's 5 shades that are identical, and I didn't realize it before I placed the order, and I'm so annoyed because that's a lot of shades in a palette that is this size. And unfortunately, I've already gone and swatched them, so I can't give them away, which is really annoying. And the duplicated shades, aside from the glitters, are, I think, this orange one here, the purple, and then the pink. So that was really annoying. That being said, I really like the colors in here, but what surprised me about this compared to their website is that these are actually brighter than the website shows. And that's not usually the case. Usually something has an oversaturated color level for the web so that people are enticed to buy something. It's usually not desaturated, but this one is definitely way more vibrant in person, which it's funny, at the time I was kind of like, well, that's not really what I wanted. I wanted what appeared on the website. And I mean, I'm happy to play with bright colors, that's not the issue, but I was like, oh, it's not quite the same as what I had been expecting. Anyway, haven't touched these shades yet, but I can't wait to now in both palettes. And then the last thing I got from ColourPop is the BFD cleansing oil, and I have no idea what BFD actually stands for. I just read the box quickly hoping that I could find it. It's not really listed anywhere, so I don't know what BFD stands for. It's probably some slang current term that I'm just not aware of. But I got this cleansing oil because it's relatively inexpensive, and I don't like spending much on my cleansing oils because I'm cheap. I'm cheap with skincare. Just that's basically what it boils down to. And their price was really good, and I just wanted to give it a go. And I think I remember being impressed with the scent of it. Yeah, it smells really nice. Now, my previous experiences with cleansing oils have been that they all stink. The only one that I liked the smell of was the Dermalogica Pre-Cleanse, but that thing is 62 Canadian. And although I love it and it's my favorite cleansing oil ever, I can't bring myself to spend that kind of money on a cleansing oil regularly. So I wanted to try out the one by ColourPop because it's reasonably priced. Haven't used it yet because I do have a few other cleansing oils to get through, and I really just ordered this to get to the minimum shipping. So I'm hopeful that I will enjoy this because it was really inexpensive, and I'd rather buy inexpensive cleansing oil. Okay, the next one is kind of an irritating purchase because it's not exactly what I thought I was getting. So Shoppers Drug Mart now sells most of their beauty products online, which is really handy because generally their prices are better online than they are in stores. So I was perusing their online wares and I noticed that my favorite makeup remover, the Marcel Gentle Makeup Remover for Sensitive Eyes, was listed as like $3.95 or maybe it was $4.95. Either way, it was a ridiculously low price tag, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this was a pricing mistake. I don't know what's going on, but I'm picking up as many bottles as this website will let me. So they let me order 6, and I didn't realize that they were all minis. That's why they were so cheap. I should have looked at the size of the freaking unit because now I've got 6 of these mini-sized bottles, and this is just excessive. This is my favorite makeup remover ever, but I'm stupid for buying so many of these mini bottles because I don't need travel sizes, and I really just thought I was getting an amazing deal on their website. I thought it was literally a markup mistake, and I was gonna like reap the benefits of buying 6 bottles of my favorite makeup remover for like, I don't know what it came to, $24. Yeah, no, they're all mini sizes. So if you need a travel sized Marcel Gentle Makeup Remover, they have them now. This month we also had a surprise Sephora sale, which basically I don't think anybody was really aware that we were going to be having. There's usually a sale, is it March or April? And then there's always another one in November, and that's what I was kind of expecting for sales. But this one popped up in August, and honestly, I didn't really have a list of items that I wanted to buy. Most makeup launches lately have been boring me to tears, and I just haven't had like a wish list, which is good and bad. It's good because it saves me money, but it's also bad because it means that nothing in the makeup world is really enticing to me currently. However, there was one palette that I was interested in, and I was really happy that it happened to launch on Sephora Canada during the sale, and that is the Violet Voss Bright Vibes palette. This is yet another rainbow palette, and no, I am not sick of rainbow palettes whatsoever. So I have to say, I don't like the feel of the coating that's on the cardboard. I don't know what it is, but it's like, ugh, it's making my skin crawl a little bit. It's kind of like it's not even a matte touch. It's a weird touch palette. Anyway, the inside is a beautiful matte rainbow of colors. I have heard people refer to these as neon colors. Actually, it's right on the packaging. It says neon pressed pigments. But in looking at these, I don't actually feel like they're neon, which gives me hope that they're not going to be that difficult texture to work with. I like neons because they're so vibrant, but they can be a pain in the derriere to use. And sometimes I really just get tired of doing that patting motion all the time. I'd rather be blending a little bit more. So these are super vibrant, but I am not convinced that these are neon. Like normally a neon yellow would have a little bit more kick to it, and that one is bright, but it seems more flat, as do most of the other, almost all the other colors really. So to me, it's kind of funny that they call this a neon pigment palette because they just don't look neon to me, but I can't wait to play with this thing. I know people are getting tired of rainbow palettes, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. I cannot get enough. I'm sure at some point I'm gonna hit my threshold and I'll be like, okay, we're done. But that day is not today. So that was the only product that I picked up during the Sephora sale, which honestly feels strange. I feel like I'm always wanting to buy things during the sale, and this time around there was just nothing that I wanted except for that palette. I did, however, pick up a few point perks, so I figured I'd show them to you, although I know the reward system is bad in general, but it's especially bad for Canadians. We don't even have a quarter of the selection that the Americans do, and honestly, most of the time, everything is sold out, which is just, I've got all these points and nothing to spend them on. So I picked up 200 point perks this time because they were there and I might as well use up my points because I will never be able to get a good item with them. The first one is the Clinique High Impact Mascara in the shade Black. I've heard good things about this mascara for a very long time, but I don't think I've ever tried it. And I am always happy to get a sample size of any kind of mascara just to give it a go. I've mentioned before, but I don't buy high-end mascara anymore because I just don't feel like it's worth the price tag when the drugstore is excellent at producing mascara, and I throw them out after 3 to 4 months anyway. So this will last me 3 to 4 months, I'm sure, and happy to try this one. And then I got a perfume 100 point perk, but look at this little baby sample size. It's so tiny. So this is Versace's Bright Crystal, and the notes when I looked on Fragrantica seemed like it would be up my alley, or at least I think they were. Can't remember now. Well, I can't believe I used 100 points on this, first of all, because there is not much in this baby container. It's a point system, man. It's just terrible. It smells, it's interesting. It's not what I thought the scent profile was, though. Kind of light, but kind of heavy. That's not very helpful, is it? Anyway, I'll give it a go. I had to spend my points on something. I've got like, I don't know, 1,500 points, and that's from like 3 or 4 years of buying stuff at Sephora, and honestly I feel like I just have the points and I can't use them for anything, so might as well snag these 2 items up. Anyway, that's it for the month. That's everything that I have purchased throughout the month of August. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye!